Welcome into the Pit Past on a Monday evening on the 11th of August, 2014, and a show in which we talk about NASCAR. We often kid around and look at the lighter side of NASCAR, but tonight we take a darker look at NASCAR when tragedy strikes. Tragedy has struck the motorsports community, and it will never be the same. We have lost one of our own with Kevin Ward Jr. in upstate New York and the tragedy that Tony Stewart was involved in. We'll break down the accident, talk about what happened, get your input, and yes, occasionally we will talk about the events in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series and Nationwide Series races in New York as well at Watkins Glen, where A.J. Allmendinger won the Cup race and Marcus Ambrose won the Nationwide Series race. This is going to be a very somber show, but we will do our best to kick it off right here on ARN.
Matt Kenseth is now to go for Jeff Johnson. Looks tail is low. Bush up high. Here they come.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Get ready.
Stay ready.
Wrap in. And hold on.
Stay ready. Stay ready.
We're getting the green. Starting right
You ready?
now.
How we need to do it, boys. That was awesome. Yeah. We're either going to get them or we're going to wreck. Four times, a little upset. Dude, I left the room. What the hell? It pisses me off so much. You have no idea. That was a bull.
You never quit. This is how you're going to win a championship. You never quit.
Therefore, we're going to keep scratching off that bucket list for you, buddy.
Stay in it. Wide open. Come on. Come on, baby. Woo-hoo! How about that, boys?
You're awesome.
This is the Pit Pass, your personal pass to everything NASCAR. Live from the Pit Pass Racing Studios in Southern California, here's your host, Alan Bailey.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everything's fine. I'm not going to sit here and try to make everything out as though nothing has happened. Something has happened in the motorsports community, and as you could tell from our different open right there, this is going to be a very somber show. We're not going to be taking too many joking, funny tweets. We're not going to be cracking jokes. We're going to be talking serious stuff here. This is going to be a very, very, very heavy show. In all honesty, if this is a family program, but in all honesty, this is the one that you might not want the kids to listen to, because this is going to be a very tough show to listen to. In case you're unaware, Tony Stewart was involved in a crash at a local dirt track in a sprint car race on Saturday night in New York State. Kevin Ward Jr. was the driver of another sprint car in which Stewart and he collided. Stewart got into, Ward and him got into each other, however you want to define it, depending on your perspective on things. They got into it. That's racing. That's where everything was normal. What was unnormal? Well, depending on how you look at it, Kevin Ward Jr. got out of his car, started pointing and heading towards Tony Stewart to voice his displeasure towards Stewart, and that's when everything started to take a right-hand turn. Stewart clipped Ward Jr. with his right rear tire, sending Ward down the racetrack several feet, about 50 feet down the racetrack. Ward was taken to a local hospital but pronounced dead on arrival. Ward was only 20 years old. When we look at Kevin Ward Jr., he was a 20-year-old sprint car driver from Port Loudoun, New York. He was the 2012 Empire Super Sprint Rookie of the Year. He has 2 wins in the last season in the 360 wing sprints. He also began go-kart racing competitively and professionally at age 4. He was only 20 years old. This is a tragedy, no matter how you strike it. And we could play the blame game, and we can say that it was Ward's fault for getting out of the car, that it was Stewart's fault for not seeing him, or it was Stewart's fault for racing on Saturday night when he had a cup race to get ready for the next day. The simple fact of the matter is, a young man is dead tonight. And there is nothing that we can do, or anybody can do, to fix that. This is a tragedy, by its pure definition. And despite what you've heard in local media outlets and on ESPN SportsCenter by their crack shot reporters in Bristol, there is nobody to blame in this instant. We can sit here and we can blame Kevin Ward for getting out of the car. We can blame Tony Stewart for not seeing him. We can speculate that Stewart meant to run him over, but I'm sorry, I cannot simply bring myself to think that Tony Stewart, or any other driver for that matter, would use their vehicle in a way to run over and kill another human being. Maybe it's because I'm foolish. Maybe it's because I actually know these drivers, in particular Tony Stewart, but that's just fine. I do want to take your tweets, your emails, your comments at the Alan Bailey. Also use the hashtag ARNRace in order to let your voice be heard tonight on the Pit Pass. This is a show that we're definitely going to be going to those lines. I want to hear a lot of input, and I want to hear it often. We're actually going to be starting right out of the gate. This one coming from JP on Twitter. Tony Stewart should not be charged with anything. He did not hit Kevin Ward Jr. on purpose. He had nowhere to go. The car in front of Stewart barely missed him. Tony had little to no time to react, especially where Kevin saw Tony coming. He ran a little faster at him. He didn't turn to the left to try to avoid him. He had no time, and he did the best he could to avoid him, but it was a single file, just like he was supposed to. This isn't NASCAR or asphalt racing, it's dirt racing, where there's no spotters, no mirrors, and no radio except for the one-way communicator with the drivers. Tony didn't cause Kevin to spin out. Kevin spun out on himself by not lifting and then getting back out of his car to run at an oncoming car going 50 miles an hour wearing all black at a night race. Kevin was at the wrong place, and Tony was wearing a Hans device, and he could not see and move his head side to side. Your vision is very restricted in the race car and speedway races. You didn't have time to see him and didn't have time to react. The reason that you heard the car rev is because Stewart tried to get out of the way, but there was just simply no time. I concur with this. This is one that I picked out on purpose because truly I don't think that Tony Stewart meant to do this. When you look at the video footage, when you look at everything that's there, all the evidence, which, by the way, police have come forward saying that they have a secondary video from the track that they're investigating. We only have one. If you're man enough, and excuse me, I shouldn't say if you're man enough, if you have the guts and the stomach, you can log on to arnrace.com in order to view the video and just assess it for yourself what you truly think happened. But I'm sorry, based off one video, I can't come to a clear conclusion. But what I will say is that I truly believe that Tony Stewart did not mean to do this. I truly believe that Tony Stewart saw him at the last minute and tried to move. I truly cannot believe that Tony Stewart meant to do this on purpose. Some of you tend to agree. This one coming from Babs 2730 on Twitter. Reading, I agree. I watched the video millions of times, and there was nothing that Tony could have done. Rest in peace, 13. God bless his family. Number 13 is Kevin Ward Jr., ma'am. He has a name. He's not a number. He is a human being. He's a child, by all accounts, and a young racer, and a fine racer, by all accounts. At least he was. And may he truly rest in peace. Our thoughts and prayers not only here at the Pit Pass, but at the American Racing Network and Turn 4 Media Productions truly go out to the Ward family and friends this evening. We're truly thinking about you. The entire racing community is behind you, and we support you tonight, and we're thinking about you. Looking into the accounts here, this one coming from William. Well said, sir. I don't get these people, never been on track in a car, know nothing about dirt racing, yet they judge it. Plus, at a point of him getting slowed up, he may have been checking the gauges, water temps, oil pressure, not looking for someone running at him. That's a very good point, William. When typically you're under caution, you're looking down at the race car, you're adjusting your gloves, you're adjusting your visor. Maybe he was ripping off a protective layer, maybe ripping off one of those shields on his visor to get some dirt out of his eyes. It was the first time that they were slowed up for the better part of 40 laps, so I tend to believe that Stewart was either cleaning his visor, checking his gauges, adjusting his seatbelts, getting something to drink maybe. We don't really know. We weren't there. Only Tony Stewart truly knows, and that's something that Stewart will share with us when he feels it's appropriate and necessary, and he's done with the grieving process. He issued a statement on Sunday basically saying that he would not be racing out at the racetrack. He released another statement today, or rather his PR people released a statement today saying, quote, "The decision to compete in this weekend Sprint Cup race at